Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got another match from the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, and it is EGIdrA versus oGsSuperNova. So in the top right position we do have Supernova as the red Terran player, and in the bottom left position we have EGIdrA. Now this is game 2 of their best of 3. If you haven't watched game 1, go and watch it now, because spoiler alert, Supernova won game 1 with some amazing use of the high and low ground with Intel Dream Altar. Now this map is Shakura's Plateau. It's a good map. I mean, it's going to be quite easy for both players to take their natural expansions. I mean, it's quite easy to defend with Hellions because of this low ramp here, so IEDrA should be safe from that. Meanwhile, obviously, Supernova can wall off this area very easily as well. A single bunker and some supply depots can do an amazing job of holding this off. So, again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, from game 1, Supernova likes using the map to his advantage, so may see some tanks placed up on this high ground here, may see this low ridge here exploited as well. So, I mean, however Supernova chooses to play this, it should be awesome. IEDrA, I mean, I hope IEDrA does get a win here, because then we get to go on to a third game, but it's all to play for. Obviously, the Intel Extreme Masters Championship is for first place, $35,000, so again, both of these players are going to be really going for it. And I mean, check out the other games from the IEM tournament I cast. They're both really good. It's Grubby versus Nurchio and White Ra versus Nurchio as well. So go and check those out. They're brilliant. I'm going to try and cast quite a few of these games because they are great to watch. Now, we are just going to see this one barrack going down for Supernova. No gas as of yet. Meanwhile, IEDrA has got his hatch on the way. And was at 15, so a 15 hatch. It'll be interesting to see whether he goes for a 16 pool. He's not. He's actually going to go for a 15 pool, so slightly earlier than most Zergs choose to do it. Most Zergs go for a 15 hatch 16 pool, but I mean, just slightly safer getting that pool a little bit earlier. Just means that your queens aren't quite synced up when you do, if you do make them as soon as possible. So again, no gas out yet. IEDrA has scouted that and is now going to be thinking what's going on, and actually pulling his drone back before he sees that base go down. Now that would have been such key scouting information. If he had seen that base come down, he would have known exactly what was happening. Now he's got to worry about bunker rushes, he's got to worry about proxy racks. He's got so much he has to think about because he hasn't seen that go down. And I mean, again, it's a shame he pulled out so quickly, but we do see Supernova now getting both gases pretty much at the same time. IEDra's still on no gases. His natural base is just finishing as I speak, transferring some drones down, and he knows that there shouldn't be any reactor Hellions quite yet, so he shouldn't have to throw down any spine crawlers. But I mean, I still don't think IEDrA has scouted this. If you take a look, no, he's got no idea that is there, and obviously that is never a good thing. You want to get all that scouting information. Knowing when that base goes down would have been huge. We'll see this SCV here is going to get picked off by the Zerglings. 2 queens on the way for IEDrA. I mean, he's playing it well. He's just droning. I'm not sure if I've missed something with his scouting, but he seems to be completely confident that he's not going to get killed by any sort of early pressure. So even though he didn't see that gas, he must have assumed that no, it's just going to be a super early expansion. That must have been what he concluded, because I don't think he even scouted around enough to know that there wasn't a proxy racks. But obviously that would have hit by now, so it's pretty safe. You will see now that barracks is actually going to go into a reactor. A factory is on the way, so slightly delayed reactor Hellions will be coming out now for Supernova. And IEDrA hasn't got any spine crawlers, he hasn't got any units at all. Getting a macro hatch out though, and I really like that. And really that's because IEDrA has been able to just drone, hasn't had to build hardly any Zerglings. And this Overlord will now be able to see, I believe, that Mule just should be able to, if we take a look. Yeah, you can see that mining. I mean, this is really subtle. It's one of those really subtle things which most players don't catch. But if you see those lines there, that just shows that mineral patch is being mined from. So kind of a subtle thing which these pro players will pick up on. And I mean, absolutely great play so far. Great Overlord position, knows exactly what is happening. Creep spread is on the way. Surprisingly not joining up the creep, but again, doesn't matter because this macro hatch will do that for him. So kind of getting the most out of the macro hatch by getting it to spread the creep, saving you 1 creep tumor. Now that spine crawler is going to come down. Obviously, reactor Hellions are on the way. There aren't any hitting yet, but the first 2 are about to pop. And I mean, once they come out, you have to be able to defend your front, and EGIdrA hasn't been able to take this third and won't be able to all while those Hellions are in play. But that doesn't really matter, he's just getting more gas, and as well as more gas, he's also getting a double evolution chamber. There's one, the other one is in the main base, so double upgrades could be on the way. That macro hatch is obviously up, and that will be super good at getting those quick upgrades. Zergling speed only just starting now, so EGIdrA playing this slightly unusually, going for that super economic build, just getting as many minerals and as many drones. Those Hellions poking up just to see, is there a third base there? And that's exactly why EGIdrA wouldn't have been able to take it quite yet. So again, great play. These Hellions doing exactly what they need to. Now, a lot of lower level Terran players think Hellions are for doing damage to the mineral line. That's kind of a bonus. The key thing Hellions do is deny creep spread, and also deny the ability for the Zerg player to move out at all and get scouting information. So that is really the key purpose of Hellions. And I mean, again, just taking a look in this base, we've got 1-1 on the way for those Zerglings. Lair also on the way, and for Supernova, he is getting a starport out, which will go on that reactor from the positioning. So double, I do apologise for this, I haven't turned myself onto busy. So there we go. These Hellions are just going to keep poking around, just taking a quick look at the kind of base, and EGIdrA managing to sneak out some creep tumors here, and that's really good. I mean, every creep tumor is really important. Moving that spine forward, getting a second spine as well. Can see that he is actually massing up a couple of Hellions outside, so something to be concerned of. The Baning Nest on the way for EGIdrA, as well as more Zerglings. He could go for this whenever he wanted. Getting those Spore Crawlers down just in case there are those Banshees, and the Zerglings are going to go down. There's good spread on the Hellions, but Surround is going to go down. 3 are going to get picked off straight away, leaving only 3 more for oGsSuperNova, but EGIdrA just wisely pulling back and biding his time. Meanwhile, it does look like a drop is going to get set up here. 2 medevacs full of Marines. Tanks are on the way. Siege mode not started though yet, so EGIdrA just moving out with these Zerglings again, going to pick off the remaining Hellions. They are going to go down. There's nothing he can do to save them. They're just on such low HP. But this could be big. A drop is coming in. I mean, EGIdrA has nothing defending his main base, and those Zerglings are quite out of position, and there's no Overlords to even scout this drop. So EGIdrA is moving back, but again moving out, and he will now see this drop coming down. That Overlord is going to die pretty quickly. There's no Banelings out either yet, so I mean, they are 1-1 lings, so that's the 1+ side, but Stim is done for oGsSuperNova, I do believe. But again, EGIdrA just being right on that and stopping anything go down. Yeah, Stim is down, but they are 0-0 Marines to 1-1 Lings. So Lings do actually do pretty damn well against 0-0 Marines. So good defense by EGIdrA, getting his third base out as we speak. And obviously you want to be 1 base up on Terran and Protoss players as a Zerg player. So if we take a look round, I mean, Supernova just doing everything fairly standard here. Some Banelings morphing out now for EGIdrA. Trying to find where they are. They're probably in the main base. There we go. So again, just protecting them against drops, moving these Overlords out, and I mean, the drop is still sitting there. The threat is still possible. I mean, it could come in. It's great doing lots of drop play. It forces multitasking, which in turn forces people to make mistakes, and the more mistakes you make, the more likely you are to lose. And therefore, if you force mistakes, you're likely to win. Now, you will see Supernova moving out with quite a big push, and it looks like he's going to come around and take out these rocks, but these Overlords are going to see it all. The Marines will run in, and they will be able to get an Overlord, but the second one should be able to get away just fine. But now, of course, EGIdrA knows exactly what's going on. Actually bringing those Marines around to take out both Overlords, that was quite effective. Meanwhile, EGIdrA looks like he's just going to go for the counter-attack. Is going to take this other Watchtower, but great lift by Supernova there. Insane reflexes. I mean, this is a good wall off here. Those Zerglings are going to be going through, have to pull back. That tank does now siege up. And Supernova, just like in Game 1, is going to use this position. He's going to get those Marines in, doing some great drops. The Lings are coming forward, but the tanks will be able to siege up now. And, I mean, once they're sieged on this low ground, they can just go for this main base and just use the medevacs to drop Marines up and down that cliff. So this could be absolutely huge. Meanwhile, we will see a lot of Lings are coming in. This is going to be a big counter-attack. But, I mean, the Marines are still here, shielding those tanks. But here come the Infestors. They do have pathogen glands. A big fungal growth goes off on all of the Marines. And, I mean, quite a few Infestors do go down. A drop is still going on in the main. And this is pretty hectic. I mean, there's just so much going on. 2-2 is on the way for EGIdrA. +1 attack is on the way for Supernova. No +1 armor, though. Getting more tanks, more Marines. Will be able to hold this position at the moment. Getting a missile turret and a bunker just in case. And here we go. These are a lot of Zerglings, and they should be able to clean this up. But charging into a tank line before the bunker does go down, so there's just so many Marines here. They should be able to do a lot. Here comes the Bailings as well, a bit late to the party. They're just like, guys, I want to hug a Marine. But no, they're going to get forced back. Actually going to blow up on the tank just to make sure EGIdrA can take that position. Now, normally I'd say blowing a Bailing on a tank awful. Never cost effective. But if it means you get this low ground back, it's worth it, because you don't want to have tanks outside your base where you can't easily take them out. But having said that, here comes Supernova again. He's like, you know what, in the first game, holding this low ground was really effective. I'm going to do it again. And a great contaminate off, just preventing the siege tank production. The armory is on the way. 6 more infestors are coming out for EGIdrA. No hive as of yet. Those queens are going to try and take out a medevac, but will get forced back because obviously there are a couple of Marines there at the moment. Now more medevacs are on their way in, more Marines, more tanks. EGIdrA looking like he's going to go for a counterattack, but I mean, because his Lings are out of position, it may force the cancel on that and get it to lift. But I mean, these tanks are coming into a great position here, and just taking a quick look, the Marines are going to move forward, but they may get cleaned up, but it is 2-2 Lings against 1-0 Marines, and that's never a good fight. The Marines are going to go down, but I mean, they should... Oh no, they don't actually manage to clean up, but the Planetary Fortress does finish. And meanwhile, in EGIdRA's base, we've got these tanks going down. Great position, and EGIdRA's got to deal with these. All while these tanks are here, his main base is a threat. He's got a lot of infestors, so we'll probably see some vulnerable growths. Using the medevacs just to drop those Marines up onto the high ground, move forward, and gain the vision. So that spine is going to go down. Can't even think of the word. An extractor does go down. Some infested Terrans being dropped. I mean, those infestors were in range of the tanks. That's a slight misstep. But if we take a look down here, Lings are running in. The bunker is going to go down, and a fungal growth is going to go off as well. And these upgraded Lings just showing how effective they are. Mass upgrades, as really made famous by Stefano, are absolutely brilliant. And a bit of Queen on Marine action, and the Queen obviously will win that fight. The dropships are going to run back. Those medevacs can't be killed by anything, but still just getting the hell out of there. Hive on the way now for EGIdRA as well, so he's really going up into the text game. Got his Spire out, but no Mutalisks as of yet. We will see another drop is coming down here for Supernova. But I mean, Supernova, he's got this third base up. He could take a 4th base whenever he wants, so he's on equal bases with EGIdRA, and that is huge. That Overlords did scout, though, that this drop was coming in, so there are Lings and Infestors coming in ready to deal with it. And that drone will die a horrible death, trying to expand. He's just like, guys, I just wanted to play some SimCity. I didn't want to get killed. But no, EGIdRA does manage to force back that drop, and that's great there. And this Overseer just seeing absolutely everything that's going on in Supernova's base. The drop is going to try and arc round, but will be spotted by this Overlord. So, I mean, EGIdRA should be pretty safe, unless he's just not looking at the minimap, but I doubt he wouldn't be. I mean, most pros players spend an insane amount of time looking at the minimap, because that's where you see what's going on. The main screen is just pretty. Now, I mean, those infestors are in a great fungal growth, dropping a couple of infested Terrans, so that drop is going to get cleaned up without doing pretty much any damage, and the dropship as well will just survive. I mean, that is crazy. 2 HP. EGIdRA thinking he had it perfectly timed with the amount of infested Terrans, but needed just one more, or the Queen a bit earlier. A great scan going off, just picking off those creep tumors, preventing them moving any more forward. But a lot of Lings coming around to arch around. It will force Supernova back. I mean, Supernova actually going to stay, but he will pick everything up. I don't think those infestors will get fungal growth off, so all of those Marines and Marauders are safe. Meanwhile, we've got the Greater Spire, about a quarter done for EGIdRA here. 3-3 is on the way. 2-2 is about to finish up for Supernova, which will temporarily bring him on level pegging upgrade-wise with EGIdRA. We've got quite a few more tech labs going down, so a lot of Marauders are coming out, and I mean, if they are all from Marauders, I will find that a bit strange. I don't know why he is getting quite so many. He's not even getting lots of Marauders. He's getting tech labs on these barracks, but I mean, it must be to switch off or something, because he's not building anything out of it. So a bit of a strange move there. Meanwhile, there was a drop tried to come down. It is just coasting around, but that Overlord is going to see exactly what's going on. Will get picked off, though. Now, again, just +1 vehicle attack for Supernova coming down as we speak. Now, that's very late, obviously. All while the Zerg player is 1 armor up on the tanks. Zerglings and Banelings don't get one-shotted. Meanwhile, another drop just getting cleaned up here for EGIdRA. I mean, Supernova just dropping everywhere, trying to do some damage, but I mean, this main base is really only there for the hive. If he protects that hive, he's fine, but even if the hive goes down, his greatest spy is done. Broodlords are on the way, morphing too, getting more corruptors out, just getting more broodlords. If you take a look at the research tab, EGIdrA now just spending all of it, just getting those broodlords out. SuperNova is trying to move forward, leapfrogging those tanks just to try and take some middle ground position, but those tanks won't last long now. Those broodlords are out. EGIdrA moving them forward. I don't actually think there's any Vikings out. No, not a single Viking, so nothing which is really catered to dealing with those broodlords effectively. And again, SuperNova just going to be forced back. He's not going to be able to go. He does have his 4th base up though. Got a 5th command center as well. Meanwhile, EGIdrA just still on those 4 bases he does have originally. So will be interesting to see how this turns out. But I mean, EGIdrA has got the tech advantage. He's got those broodlords and a little Ling counterattack going down. Those Lings are going to be 3-3 any second. I believe Adrenal Glands is done as well. I mean, I'll go and check any second, but Adrenal Glands, yep, is done. So those Lings are going to be 3-3 cracklings very, very soon. And the bulk of the army moving forward now for SuperNova. And those cracklings are going to actually force a cancel. And that orbital command will probably go down. It is on fire. They don't last very long. These broodlords are now just laying siege. The tanks are sieged up, so will splash damage their own units. Unsieging now very, very quickly. That command center is going to go down as well. And I mean, it's going to be near simultaneously falling of those 2 command centers. SuperNova hasn't got any SCVs there ready to repair, so that will go down. Just watching it tick away its health, and these broodlords are going to do massive damage. Meanwhile, a drop does take out the hive for SuperNova, but the greatest spire is still up. Meanwhile, for SuperNova, his front of his base is just getting besieged. So many broodlords there, and just so many units. They're clearing up everything, and the Marines trying to do some damage, but in great positioning the broodlords. Only a couple of Marines can attack at a time. And I mean, the broodlings getting affected by the +3 upgrades for the ground army of the Zerg. And I mean, EGIdRA's in such a strong position here. There are some ghosts coming in, but even if they snipe, actually going for the nuke. So if EGIdRA isn't paying attention, all of his stuff could go down, but he has now noticed it, so will pull back. That's really, really great timing. Good use of a nuke as well by SuperNova. Just forcing everything back, but I mean, it's a temporary rest in the attack because EGIdRA can just go straight back into it. The nuke has now been used. Only 2 Vikings out, but there's a lot of infestors. Infested Broodlord as an insanely strong composition, especially with 3-3 upgrades. Now there goes the Zerglings as well, just everything running in. EGIdRA is in such a good position here, but again, SuperNova doing a great job of holding it. He's got a great defensive position, but purely just too much stuff for EGIdRA. EGIdRA remaxing on Zerglings and Corruptors, so he's in a good position here. Really low on minerals though, that's the only downside. No more drops are on the field for SuperNova as far as I can see, and I mean, I think EGIdRA's pretty much got this now, unless SuperNova pulls out something amazing, does manage to take out all of those broodlords exceptionally quickly. But that one Viking, which was his hope, is going to go down now to those Corruptors. Won't be able to get out enough Vikings to deal with this in time. The Ghost Academy going down, the base is already down. Surprisingly, EGIdRA ignoring that 3rd base, which is the only mining base at the moment. Quite a few snipes going off, but obviously this is post-patch, so snipe isn't as effective against broodlords as it used to be, which means that, I mean, SuperNova needed a lot more Vikings in order to deal with this. Trying to just hold on, because obviously he has still got that mining base, but there's just so many broodlings coming out of those broodlords that, I mean, even these Marines aren't going to be able to deal with it, I don't think. And even if they do move forward, they've all clumped up, and if an infestor gets in there, they'd be absolutely huge damage. And move forward, a big fungal growth goes off, a 2nd and 3rd fungal growth doing huge damage. Those broodlords are just going to clean this up. The Corruptors moving forward to pick up all of the medevacs and all of the Vikings, and I mean, this is pretty much it. EGIdRA's 100 supply ahead. SuperNova clinging on to the last minute, and there goes the GG. So absolutely great play by EGIdRA there, bringing the series to 1-1, and it will be really interesting to see what happens in Game 3. So please join me there, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Come and watch Game 3 to find out who wins this amazing series of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship.